Edom, you failed at ruling the earth. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bashom, Yahweh Shai, Bashom Achakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashom, Yahweh Shai. And in this video, I just wanted to express my displeasure at how the world is being managed. Because even as I breathe, they're spraying chemtrails in the air. They're spraying aluminum, barium, arsenic. They're spraying estrogen. They're spraying all kind of harmful metals in the air, which is capable of killing you. And when I say they, I'm talking about the U.S. government. They're also putting harmful things in your water, such as microcosmic shrimp, feces, chlorine, fluoride. Okay? And the reason why they justify themselves in putting fluoride in the water is because they say it prevents tooth decay. No, the reason why they put fluoride in the water is to make you people docile, stupid, dumbed down, careless, carefree, So you people out there, you have not a clue what's going on. Also, let's look at our food. Our food is genetically modified, which is why we call it GMO. GMO is an acronym for genetically modified organisms, because our food is not real. The food that we eat is not real. They put rat shit in chocolate, cow snot in milk. They put rat hairs in cereal, metals in cereal, metals in Similac. Okay? You want to know how they make the cheese yellow? They use animal rennet. Look it up. Animal rennet comes from a creature called the pig. And according to the Holy Scriptures, okay, pork is considered unclean. Pork is considered unclean. What else do? They put all kind of mixed fabrics amongst our clothes. There's several. There's because you see show you that the so-called white man's a mad scientist. They put certain things in your fabrics that weigh you down, because there's certain things that you wear that will increase your power, that will increase your energy. So they put things in your clothes that weigh you down, that decrease your energy, which is why you have something called static electricity. Sound familiar? Yeah, that comes from these devils putting certain things in your fabrics. The animals are in mourning. The sea creatures in the oceans are in mourning. The insects are in mourning. No creature can do what they're supposed to do as they were created, intended to do, because this devil wants to consume them, eat them. The lobster, the crab, the shrimp, they were all created for a particular purpose, and that was to clean the earth. So it's time for this earth to be under new management, because this devil Esau, the Edomites, the so-called white men, starting with the so-called elites, have done a piss poor job of managing the earth. The plants are in mourning, the grass is in mourning, the dirt is in mourning, the trees are in mourning, the leaves are in mourning. Everywhere this devil goes, he wants to put pavement and asphalt down on the ground. There's a reason why this place is called a concrete jungle. You're literally smothering the earth. You're smothering the earth, putting all this concrete and shit down on the ground. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And it's not just the people that are in mourning. It's the animals, the insects, the sea creatures, the wind. You know, the atmosphere of the earth cannot do what it's supposed to do, because this devil wants to what do they call that, geoengineering? You know, they want to spray particular chemicals in the air that change the weather. This devil is literally creating his own clouds. So the earth is fighting back against this man. Okay? Hey, I'm only speaking on the behalf of the animals, the insects, the people, and the sea life. Because this devil has everything all jacked up. Oh, excuse me. Let's go to Isaiah 29 verse 16 real quick. It says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he have no understanding? Nah. So this devil has everything turned upside down in this society. You got women ruling the household when it's supposed to be the man ruling the household. You see? You know that they've given women rights, authority, power. You know, they got everything turned upside down in this society. They have effeminized the man. And now they're trying to convince children that you can grow up to be whatever you want to be. If you want to get a sex change, you know, here it is, you're a male, right? If you believe you should have been a female, consult your doctor at once. Just all manner of bullshit, man. As if the Most High make mistakes. Nah, the Lord do not make mistakes. If you're a male, there's a reason why the Lord made you a male. If you're a female, there's a reason why the Lord made you a female. But you got this devil, you know, here it is, you know, he's coming along. He's telling you that the Most High was wrong. Like who the fuck you think you are? Who do you think you are? The Lord do not make mistakes. But you see, it goes back to that pride. Let's go to Obadiah chapter 1 verse 3. It says, the pride of thine heart. The word heart goes back to the Hebrew word lob, which means your mind. You see, the pride of thy mind have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. Because these motherfuckers came out the caves and out of the mountains, you know, grunting at one another. You know, that's exactly how they were speaking to each other up in the mountains. You know, beating on their chest, you know, knocking their women up, their women upside the head with billy clubs, raping them. You know, they was raping their sisters, their brothers. Because that's what Esau does best, man. It says, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Guess what? The Lord is going to bring you down to the ground. The Lord is taking away your throne. Let's get that in the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1. It says, come down and sit in the dust, which the word dust represents confusion. But when you look up this word dust in a blue letter Bible, it literally means ashes. Because during the nuclear war, which you know, I remember Apostle Gabar, he did a mailbag where he talked about you should desire the nuclear destruction, because the intense heat from the explosion of those nuclear warheads is going to cleanse the air, it's going to cleanse the water. Everything is going to be cleansed through those nuclear missiles. But even after the nuclear destruction, even the oceans are still going to be polluted. The oceans are still going to be tainted. So guess what? We're going to have the so-called elites, who's going to be the first fruits, the first fruits of slaves. Okay, we're going to have their asses dive in the oceans, and we're going to have them clean out the oceans. Okay, plus on top of that, they have dumped hundreds of thousands, millions of garbage in the ocean. So now you got fishes beaching themselves because the ocean is uninhabitable to them. They're suffering just from you know, inhaling the water, because there's all kind of plastic and harmful metals and all kind of other shit in the oceans. So we're going to have the so-called elites and their so-called elite families. We're going to have they punk asses in the oceans cleaning up all that garbage, which they had these other people to dump in there via ships. Because if you look at the landfills, right, you know, nobody wants to question, well, here it is, you know, we have garbage trucks, we have this, that, fourth, and the other. We have garbage trucks to pick up our trash. They go to these landfills and they pretty much dump our trash on the ground. But nobody wants to question where all that garbage goes as soon as they run out of room. They take thousands of pounds of trash. They put them on ships via machines, tractors, whatever, right? They put them on ships, and then what they would do, they would set sail right in the middle of the ocean, and then they'll dump all that trash in the ocean. So now you got sharks suffering, you got whales suffering, you got dolphins suffering, jellyfishes suffering, fishes that are lawful to eat with fins and scales. You got them down there suffering. Lobsters, crabs, shrimps. Everything in the fucking oceans is suffering because of this goddamn devil, man. So come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. When you sit on the ground, what does that represent? That's a representation of you being a peasant. Okay? The Lord made you a king, presuming to the book of Daniel chapter 4 verse 17. And guess what? Overnight, he's going to make you a fucking peasant. It says, sit on the ground, there is no throne. A throne is a representation of rulership. The Lord is taking away the rulership of this so-called self-proclaimed white person. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right, and this country is not being called tender and delicate. This whole entire country is falling apart, economically, financially. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 24 verse 1. The Lord is literally tearing this country apart. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down. Right? And the Lord have used the left hand side, Esau, Edom, to basically turn things upside down. It says, and scattereth the inhabitants thereof. Okay, verse 2. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. Verse 3. The land. Now when you look up that word land, it goes back to the Hebrew word aratazah, which means predominantly it means the whole inhabited earth, but it can also be talking about a particular country. So this country known as America is going to be made desolate. Okay? And as a matter of fact, let's prove that. Because the Lord fucking hates this country. Isaiah chapter 13 verse 19. And Babylon. Who is Babylon? The United States of America is Babylon. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. How was ancient Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed? It was destroyed via fire and brimstone. The modern day fire and brimstone is going to come in the form of those nuclear missiles. Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 14, Jeremiah 51 verse 1, Jeremiah 51 verse 11. And there's many other scriptures going into the nuclear destruction of America. Okay, the book of Revelations. Okay, Isaiah 13 and 20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Right, because these Arabs, they love to come over here and set up corner shops in our neighborhoods and shit, selling us a bunch of bullshit. Okay, Isaiah 13 and 21. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there. Now, if you notice, it said desert. because after the post-nuclear destruction of this country, there's going to be a bunch of wild beasts. Beasts that live far out in the desert is going to be dwelling here on the soils of America. Why? Because after the fire goes out from this country being destroyed by nuclear warheads, this country is going to be a desert. Okay? So wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. Right? Satyrs shall dance there. Motherfuckers gonna be over here two-stepping this shit. Yeah, this country's done for a two-step. Yeah, this country's done for a two-step. Isaiah 13:22. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come. Her days shall not be prolonged. So America's days are not going to be prolonged. Which proves that the Lord has a set time for this devil to rule, and a set time for him to be taken down. Isaiah 24 verse 4. It says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languish and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Let's read verse 5. Okay. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Why? Why is the earth defiled under the inhabitants thereof? Because they have transgressed the laws. What laws? The so-called white man laws? Nah, fuck the so-called white man laws. Nah, the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They have transgressed the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because whenever you go contrary to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, then that's when things start to go out of course. Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, which the word everlasting means eternal. Isaiah 24 and 6. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Right, the people that dwell therein are desolate. Now, does it mean that they are physically desolate? No, it means spiritually they are desolate, because this devil he don't made everybody spiritually desolate through his democracy, which that democracy goes back to the foundation of the so-called white man's democracy is the Aleister Crowley doctrine, which is doest thou wilt shall be the will of the law. Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So the soul in these crackers is not upright. Period. Okay, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. What wine? His democracy, which the foundation of his democracy is backed by the Aleister Crowley doctrine. Doest thou wilt shall be the will of the law. That's why you got a bunch of motherfuckers walking around here with pink, blue, yellow, orange hair. People getting tattoos all over their bodies. They got piercings all over their bodies. You know, people getting body mods and shit. You know, you putting rocks in your forehead so you can look like a demon. Just completely going against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But then people will question, how come the Lord flooded the earth during the time of Noah? Look at What the fuck you doing? You over here, you're over here taking your dick and you're sticking it inside the butt of another man. But you're wondering why the Lord flooded the earth during the time of Noah. And I'm not here to be politically correct. I'm gonna say what the fuck I gotta say. Okay, it's time for this world to be under new management, because Edom has done a piss poor job of managing the whole earth. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Right? This devil got troops everywhere. The southern parts of Europe, the borders of Iran, 50,000 troops. They got troops on the borders of Russia. They got troops in South Korea. They got troops in Africa. So this devil, he doesn't know how to keep his troops in his own country. You know, one thing about America is that they're nosy. I remember when I was a child, you know, and I'll still remember this to this very day, man. I still remember this to this very day. My mom used to always tell me that so-called white people are so goddamn nosy. Like if there's something happening outside, right? Like there might be a confrontation between a man and his woman, right? You know, these little gremlin will literally be peeking out the blinds and shit. You know, and then they'll go as far as calling the police if violence break out. It's like that's between that man and that woman. You don't know what the fuck those two. You don't know what happened between those two. Who are you to dive in their business? You nosy ass cracker. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Now, the last scripture that I would like to get before I close this out, because this world will be under new management. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 13. It says, nevertheless, we, who's the we? The elect. Now, I'm not saying I'm of the elect. Lord's will, I'm of the elect. I hope to be of the elect. Okay? Nevertheless, we, according to his promise. Whose promise? The promise that our Lord and Savior, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The promise of the kingdom of heaven. We, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth. Now is this talking about the Lord is going to destroy the entire universe and start all over? No. The new, when you look up that word new goes back to the Greek word kainos, which means refreshed. Because through the intense heat of those intercontinental ballistic missiles, the earth is going to be refreshed. Okay? The earth is going to be refreshed. The air is going to be refreshed. It's going to be refreshed of all those goddamn metals and shit they have been spraying in the air. So we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. With that, I'm going to say shalom. Is on to the next one.